You're listening to Foxx on the Wire podcast. Well, good evening, folks, and welcome to episode number 84 of Foxx on the Wire. I'm sorry, it's been a few months since our last episode. I guess I've been a busy boy playing lots of music, and there just hasn't been a lot of spare time going around for a proper episode of the podcast. So I've put it on hiatus, but we're back tonight with one of our favourite guests, Jörg from Germany. Welcome, Jörg.
How's everybody doing? Thank you for having me.
Funnily enough, you were the guest on the last episode that we did about Metallica's 72 seasons. So,
Oh, really?
Yeah, nice to see you again. It's been a couple of months since I've done an episode, so it's good to be back behind the mic and talking Metallica again with you. We've been talking about this for a little while, and I think we might have even mentioned it during our last episode of 72 seasons about doing an episode on the 20th anniversary of Metallica's Saint Anger album. So here we are. Where do we start?
Yeah. 3 months late.
Yeah. Better late than never, you know.
Absolutely.
It's actually given me a few months to re-familiarize myself with Saint Anger because, you know, when it came out, I think I was about 20 years old back in 2003. I was writing music with I think it was my first band, you know, the heavy riffs, the drop C stuff. So when this came out, it was because Metallica weren't sort of into the drop C stuff before Saint Anger, I don't think.
No. The only thing that was, well, the only 3 songs that were down-tuned, so to speak, were Set But True.
Oh, yeah.
The Thing It Should Not Be.
That's the one
which they have played live for ages in C# standard.
Ah.
And the Mind Is Human on S&M.
Oh, yeah. What was that in? What tuning?
Drop C sharp.
Drop C. Yeah, so when they dropped Saint Anger, it was quite a different sounding album, to say the least. And you know, I was sort of familiar with some of the tunings, and it was quite different for Metallica. And yeah, like I was right into it at the time that it came out. And then I don't know, I don't think I listened to it for a long time.
Sorry, I forgot to mention. There was also the thing that not the thing that should be the God That Failed, but it was a half step flat, so it's E flat, and they I know the house Jack built on Load. One is E flat and the other one is drop C sharp as well.
Right.
But on Saint Anger there are 2 songs which are tuned lower than drop C, and I don't think they have anything done in drop C or, you know, lower than D standard on a record. Not as far as I know. Somebody might correct me, but I don't think so.
So yeah, I pretty much didn't listen to this album for quite a long time, I must admit. I guess you know, Saint Anger, the song itself, I would probably listen to because of the music video. I always love that music video. So, you know, going down my drunken YouTube rabbit holes, you know, I'd stumble across Saint Anger, the song and the video. But the rest of the album, I almost forgot about, you know, for the most part. So when I started listening to it again after we mentioned about doing this episode, I'm like, oh, wow, this is just, you know, it was fresh all over again. And because I'd been listening to 72 seasons after our last episode, and because it's a new album, you know, this was quite different. So do you remember when this album came out? Did you get it straight away? Were you into it straight away? Yeah.
Yes. If I remember correctly, I bought the day it came out. and was listening to it, and I was like, wow, that's a strange direction.
Yeah.
But up to that point, I only knew about, Jason left the band, and I really didn't know about the complex situation they had back at the time. And so it was just the music, and I was just, whoa, strange direction. I didn't understand it, why. And after that, with the documentary and everything, so now it makes sense. That album took a while to fully understand it. But yeah, it was 2003. I was also 20 years old, almost before I went into the forces in that year. And but I listened to it the whole through summer, and I loved it, even though it went a different direction.
Yeah,
it's a high energy album, and I mean, yes, we can really discuss about the sound and production, which is another topic. But the songs itself and the energy you get from it, listening to it, it's amazing, I think.
Yeah, like I was saying before we sort of hit record, I've got tons of notes on this song because there's stuff about the album itself, and then there's a lot of things that sort of surround the album and the lead up to it. So I guess let's just go through it, and
Sure.
we'll see where it takes us. But yeah, Sinanga was released on June 5th, 2003. Now, it was recorded between April 2001 and early 2003. Recording began in April of 2001, but was postponed after James entered rehab for alcoholism and various other addictions. And then I think recording resumed back in May 2002. So, a lot of that was documented in the movie documentary, Some Kind of Monster, which I'm sure most people have seen, maybe not for a little while. That was another thing that I watched when it came out, and then had a few years in between. Now, this was produced by Bob Rock, was the band's 8th studio album, and their last that was released through Elektra Records. And it was also the last collaboration they had with Bob Rock, who they'd worked with since 1990. So, just off topic a little bit here, do you see the band working with Bob Rock again in the future? Do you imagine that they would?
No.
Nah.
I mean, I personally would love to see it again. Nothing bad against Greg Fidelman. They're actually now producer, and which I also saw in Hamburg. He was there as well, because I think he does the live mixes before they publish things. Personally, I would love to see them again with Bob Rock. But again, there was a different time and different gear used for recordings and software, tons of stuff. But I think Bob Rock just knew how to make them sonically great, how to make them sound great in a mix. For me, I guess I think I said in our last episode, for me, the best production Metallica albums for me, and this is very subjective, is Master of Puppets, Black Album, Load, and Garage Inc. And three of those are Bob Rock. So he just knew. And I think he also said that to them. You never captured your energy and your sound live on the record after the Justice tour.
Yeah,
so,
he went to see them on that tour before he.
Oh yeah.
I think before he even took the job for the next album, which would be the Black album, and
exactly.
Yeah, it's quite a difference between Justice and Black, and it's only 2 years, or 3 years since the release. Justice was 88, I think, and then Black was 91. So it's a short period of time, but a big jump in sound, and I think that was due to Bob Rock. So,
I mean, we don't have to talk about production St. Anger. This was supposed to sound like it does, and they wanted it like that. I think I read it somewhere in an interview, in some paper. They wanted to sound raw, like a band that just came together and recorded in a garage, and it surely does sound like that.
Yep.
Forget the snare. Okay, forget the snare. But the production, I guess, it's some kind of what they wanted it to sound like.
Yeah,
which is also very strange if you listen to the first records. But again, different time, different mindset, especially.
Yeah, it's got that harsh sort of sound on purpose, kind of like for me, like Subhuman Race by Skid Row. You know, after Slave to the Grind, they released that. That was really harsh and rough, and even Alice in Chains' self-titled album in '95, like that was quite harsh and rough. You know, they don't sound the same, but there's kind of that same idea.
Or the first record,
Kill 'Em All. Sorry, which one?
Korn,
right.
the first album.
Yeah. Yep.
That's a great one.
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess my general thoughts on St. Anger before we dive into it. It's definitely not my favourite album, but I think it's definitely a necessary album for the band. And if you watch that doco, you'll see why. And it's probably why we've still got Metallica today. You know, if they didn't have that album and go through what they went through,
exactly,
I don't think we would still have them today. So for that reason alone, I'm grateful. And it was very interesting going back and listening to this album. So it was also interesting to sort of have a bit of a look at the musical landscape at the time that this album came out, like see what else was coming out. So a couple of other albums that were released that year before St. Anger came out, you had Radiohead's Hail to the Thief, White Stripes' Elephant, Linkin Park, Meteora, Dragon Force had their debut album Valley of the Damned, Evanescence debut album Fallen, Godsmack Faceless,
my favorite of them.
Oh yeah, Opeth Damnation, Lamb of God as Palaces Burn. So, you know, and we'd sort of been through that new metal phase, I guess. And I think, didn't St. Anger have a bit of a tag of a new metal sort of genre as well? Didn't it get a bit of a new metal tag?
Probably. But it may also have something to do with no solos on the record, which the majority of this, I guess, new metal genre has. Beside Godsmack. Godsmack surely does play solos. But I don't hear solo in Korn, Evanescence on that debut album. I don't remember, to be honest. But the thing is, no solos on a complete Metallica record is a hard pill to swallow. And I understand the people who are bashing the record because there are no solos. You're used to it. You're used to listen to a Metallica song, and it does have a solo. I only can think of, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 more songs where they have no solos. Mama Said, for example. A Low Man's Lyric. But a complete record? Wow.
Barely a lead break or even a lead part, you know. That's sort of one of the questions I wrote down. Is like, if you sort of tune out and just listen to the album, do you almost forget about Kirk altogether? Like, it's very much a James Hetfield sort of album, I guess, and you almost sort of forget Kirk is on there, as there's no lead breaks or solos, as you said.
I guess he made some parts different than James, and he like they did on Load and Reload. He recorded some things that were in a solo, obviously, but maybe helped the song to. I forgot the word. Sorry, man. That served the song in a different way, like a different harmony line here and there, or some more notes to a specific chord. And if you watch the DVD, where Rob Trujillo is included, you can see and hear that Kirk does some things differently than James, which added some more spiciness to the song. And I watched the DVD yesterday to be a bit prepared for today. I was thinking, wow, what a high energy album.
Yeah, I sort of picked up on that too, and I didn't realize at the time it came out how much so. I think particularly in James's vocals, what in one area, you know, he sort of pushed his vocals, I think, more on that album maybe than, you know, he sort of got out of his comfort growl zone. You know, he let his voice break at times, and even though it may not have been technically correct or in pitch, or, you know, his voice broke, they sort of left it in there because it worked. And yeah, he sort of approached some of the vocal a little bit different in some of the songs, I thought. Yeah. So you could tell that he really was trying to get something out during that album. And again, if you watch the doco, you'll see why. But yeah, very expressive vocal, which he always is, but I think even more so on this album.
Well, yeah. You can hear it in the first song, Frantic. This tick, tock. That's wow. I have never heard James like this before on a record.
Yeah.
They were all fired up. It's crazy. It's crazy. I just thinking of yesterday when I watched the DVD, and I was like, damn, amazing. That's just wow. And I was sitting there and like, damn it. Now imagine playing this album straight live.
Yeah. Did they ever do that?
No.
Like the whole no.
They didn't even play all songs. Most of the time they play Frantics and Anger. Lastly, they play Dirty Window. But they play here and there back, like Sweet Amber, The Unnamed Feeling, but they never played All Within My Hands, this version live. The acoustic version that came out a couple of years ago.
Oh yeah, right.
Which is also great, but I learned All Within My Hands, the album version. Damn, my arm was tired after 2 minutes. It's crazy.
I saw you recently posted, it might have been today actually, Sweet Amber.
Yeah, yesterday.
Yeah. That was what sort of tuning is that one in? You'll be more
That's
familiar
drop
than I.
C.
Yeah.
That's drop C. Yeah. The unnamed feeling is way low, but I think James and Kirk are tuned differently on that song. Also, Invisible Kid. Invisible Kid is what is the invisible? Drop C sharp.
I think that's the one I was going to ask you about. Yeah, because that sounded lower than.
I think it was drop G sharp, and the unnamed feeling is drop A sharp, maybe. It's fun to play, and it sounds amazing, especially on a baritone. On that baritone, it has a different vibe to it. But the majority of the songs on Saint Anger are in drop C. Frantic, Saint Anger. Oh no, I think Dirty Window is drop C sharp. My World, that's a fun song to play. They're all fun to play. It's just some of them are not really difficult by any means. It's the most difficult thing is the endurance in the picking hand. Like on the fast ones, like disposable heroes, like Battery, like Puppets, Plugins. It's the endurance of your picking hand.
Yeah. Yeah, I was trying Puppets earlier today, and I'm like, because if you don't play that for a couple of weeks, it's it's not gone, but it's almost gone, and you got to build it back up again. That's just some of those songs are just insane, and until you try and play along with them, you don't realize, because you watch Hetfield play and he's singing like it looks effortless. So for someone who's not a musician, you got no idea how much talent and skill is going on there, and to sing as well, he does. Like, he's just an absolute machine. So yeah, just incredible. Well, let's jump off Sananga for a second, because you got to see Metallica fairly recently in Germany. So do you feel like giving us a bit of a bit of a review of the show and a few highlights?
Well, for me personally, the highlight has been standing front row on James's side twice. Well, my girl and I, we went to Hamburg, and even though we were there pretty early, because the first show I really wanted to be front row, which I haven't been in my life at a Metallica show, I think, even though I have seen them a couple of times. Yeah, we were there and standing front row. I even got the chance to fist bump him. Other people got their cigars with them, which James lighted up. What else can I say? It was great. I mean, it wasn't the first time for me seeing them or hearing them with their fractals live. I mean, I had the opportunity to be in San Francisco at the 40th anniversary show,
cool.
which were done with fractals. I've seen them with tube amps on the San Anger tour, for example. It's, of course, it's different, but the whole production with the rounded stage is also pretty unique, especially with the PA. So sometimes I didn't even really hear Kirk. I mean, you always can hear Lars, especially when he's playing near you. You hear his double bass and especially his snare, because he still attacks the drum set pretty hard. The lightning show was really unbelievable, and if you see pictures online with the towers they have, and you see the rounded stage, and then the lightnings come up. Looks amazing. I guess to have a really good sonically good experience, I guess you have to be on a seating area in the first seatings. But it was great. We were there. I'm a part of a Metallica fan club here in Germany, which is called Saint Germany. I guess you can see the cowboy hat there.
Oh, yeah.
It's a green one. We recently had like a Saint Germany party, an anniversary, 20 years. Was great, and we were there. I don't know, like 60 people or something. And the second night, most of them were in the snake pit, and it looked amazing. All this green. We are wearing the color green, and you can see in the pit all these green T-shirts. Looked amazing. But I was standing, like I said, in the front row with my girl, and to see also to come to the idea. Playing 2 nights with a complete different set list. Really cool. Really cool. Even though they played the majority of their, most famous songs. I don't want to bash Nothing Else Matters or something, but it's quite nice not to hear Nothing Else Matters on one of these nights. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or Enter Sandman on one of these nights.
Yeah.
Well, quite surprising. The new songs they played, they fit really good actually. I hope they will play in Morada later on their tour. We really love to hear that. But so far, the songs they have played, they fit really good in their set songs of choice. Yeah. What else would you want to know? I mean, it was a full weekend of Metallica. I mean, we arrived on Thursday evening. Friday was the first show. Saturday was like, a little bit of sightseeing. Sunday was the second show, and Monday back home.
Yep.
It was great. It was just an absolute great experience, especially to be this close to his guitars, to his setup, to see what his guitar tech Chad is doing during the songs and stuff. And every time James was around, there was a big space where only a few people were allowed to come in this zone beside Chad. The local securities, they made room. So there were like only 3 people in this inner circle when James was around, and he was one of those people. And Chad, the own security guy, sometimes Ross Halfin came through, or another tech. But other than that, only few people were allowed to be in this closer area to James when he was down there between songs.
Yep.
That was quite interesting to see. And when he was sitting there between songs and the intro tape for something came up, and he was sitting there drinking his tea, lighting up his cigar again, just to be focused in the moment. And you can see that that they give everything at these shows. I mean, after the show, he was quite exhausted.
Yeah, I mean, they're not just getting up there having a bit of a strum, are they? Like, they're pumping out hard music, vocally and guitar playing, and of course the drumming, and in their long shows. But yeah, some of that footage that's been going around the internet, seeing sort of James and the others, just off stage there, having the cigar, taking his shirt off, high-fiving fans, lighting cigars. It's really cool to see, and it's cool that they've done that, obviously, for the fans, to give them a more of an idea. Yeah, it just shows how much they love their fans and how much they appreciate their fans, still after all this time, and probably even more than ever. The reason why I wanted to ask your review, we haven't seen them down here in Australia for a little while. They were due, I think, just before the pandemic, if I remember correctly. Is that about when James went back into rehab for a little bit? I think they had a tour booked. Yeah, and then it got cancelled. So, we're hanging to get them back down here pretty soon, I hope. Especially after seeing a lot of these shows overseas. And even some of the supports that they're bringing along, like Pantera, Mammoth. Who did you have on as supports for your shows that you went to?
It should have been 5 Minute Death Punch on one night, but they had to cancel because of, I think, Ivan Moody. He had surgery on his, what is it called in English? I don't know. He had a surgery, and because of that, they weren't able to play. But for that band, was a change. The symphonic metal band, Epica.
Okay.
I don't know if you know them.
No.
Okay. Ice Nine Kills. Epica. Oh, Mammoth.
Yeah.
Wolfgang Van Halen. Mammoth.
Yeah.
Which was sounding really good.
Yeah.
And I highly recommend this album. Both, actually. The second I just came out a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
Or a single just came out a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
Iceland Hills was also really good. Epica, wasn't familiar with it because it's not my style of metal. I'm not really into symphonic, but it sounded really good. What's the fourth band? I really have to look that up now. I'm sorry, man.
It's all good. Yeah, like Mammoth. I'm become a real big fan of
Mammoth.
Wolfgang.
Mammoth sounded really good.
Yeah, like he's such a, what can you say? Like such a good dude, like such a really humble sort of guy. Like he's an actual Van Halen. But he's so talented and so down to earth. You watch him in interviews, like the one with Ola, or there's a few going around, and he's just a good guy to follow. I really enjoy what he's up to, and he really puts the work in. And I think he's a bit of a perfectionist, he said.
And he recorded all instruments in the studio by himself.
Yeah.
So I just looked it up, and so the first night was Architects in Mammoth. And Architects sounded really nice. It was one of the last shows with Josh Middleton. Shortly after that, he left Architects just to be for what is it, Silosis, I think it's called. Yeah.
Okay.
Was great. Yeah. It's one thing I have to say is, though, I think that the circle stage, the round stage, is a bit too big. But other than that, I really enjoyed it. Not only to see Metallica, obviously, but also the other bands. They were sounding really good. They had fun on stage, which you can clearly see when you were there. And to be part of that whole thing was quite overwhelming. And I'm thinking about going to Munich next year. So,
Okay.
but I want to do Vacation next year, so that might intervene with my time plan.
Cool. And do you think that they got it's probably hard to get it wrong, but do you think they got the mix of the set list pretty good, like for the 2 different nights? Was it a pretty good mix?
I think so. I think so. Yeah. I just have the set list up. They started the first night, yes, with Creeping Death. Come on, man. It's a classic.
How's that for an opener? The picking hand's already in motion. I mean, to play that one is a...
Yeah, that reminded me a lot of, Black Album Tour. They opened a lot of the shows with Creeping Death or Sandman and then Creeping Death. And then I think sometimes into Puppets, I think. I'm not really sure. But Creeping Death, Harvester of Sorrow, that's always great. Personally, I love, like on the Seattle 89, Creeping Death and then Inform the Bell Tolls. That's great. But after that, Leper Messiah. Come on. The 3 classics. Amazing. And the next song was Until It Sleeps. And then the first new song came, 72 Seasons. If Darkness Had a Sun. Both songs. So they fit really good, I must say. So beside Send Anger, every album was played. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And also no Reload. Sorry.
Not even Fuel?
No, not on that night. I think Fuel was on the second night.
And Memory Remains? Are they still playing that?
Not on this show.
Okay.
But look, imagine you are in the business for 40 years. You are like 60 years old. You're playing Creeping Death, Sorrow, Leper Messiah, Until It Sleeps, 70 Seasons, If Darkness Had a Sun, Welcome Home, You Must Burn. Then there's I guess it's maybe they are doing this to protect James's voice. Then it comes an instrumental, Call of Cthulhu, Unforgiven, Wherever I May Roam. And the last 4 songs, Moth into Flame, Battery, Whiskey in a Jar, 1, Enter Sandman. Come on. And people still bash Lars Ulrich.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
The second night was almost the same. The last 4 or 5 songs, The Day It Never Comes, Blackened, Fuel, Seek and Destroy, and Mass of Puppets. Come on.
Very cool, man. So many songs. I mean, it'd be even doing 2 different set lists on 2 different nights, it'd still be hard for a band like that to get, everything on the set list that they'd want to play, I'd imagine, So.
But now that I see the set list, James had a small technical issue with his in-ear monitors, I think it was, because he missed singing the second verse of Harvester of Sorrow. It was just instruments, right? Because of his in-ear. I guess he couldn't hear himself quite properly, or maybe something else. But that didn't matter. They killed it.
Yeah,
it was great. I loved it. And I will love to see it again.
Yep. So you gave him a fist. Yep.
Oh yeah, twice.
Yeah. Did you take some of that energy in through the fist?
I just he was standing there, adjusting himself, and I took the opportunity.
Yeah.
Looked like left and right, and stick my fist out, and he was like, "Oh yeah,
sweet."
Nice.
He's looking good, man. Like he's looking healthy and he's looking lean.
Oh yeah.
Just sounds great. What a machine! What an absolute machine. What picks did you get to see? What sort of picks he's using, or do you know what sort of picks he uses gauge
The
wise?
White Fangs. 1.14. His signature pick. This one.
Oh yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, right.
Which I didn't catch, but I caught other picks.
Mm-hmm.
They're typical promo picks then.
Does Kirk still use the green Tortex?
He's still using his Jazz 3 signature picks.
Yep.
Wait. Which you can buy separately or in a tin box, like this one.
Yep.
And this is one of the picks, and this is his normal Jazz 3 pick, and with a cutout for grip for himself. I don't.
It looks small. Is that small? That's
the regular Jazz 3. And for that tour, he has a yellow one. They haven't played Tortex picks in, I don't know, years.
What gauge does Kirk use?
What is the Jazz 3? 1.3? I think. Well, I caught different, the typical city picks, with the different logos on it.
Cool.
Oh, there it is, the other one, in black of the second night.
Yeah.
Well, with the same print on the backside, the same robots, or what it is. I don't know. Yeah.
Cool. Did you get to see the floor like in front of James? Like, has he got any pedals in front of him? He doesn't usually.
No. Well, kind of, yes. There's a control pedal, like a pedal. It's not a pedal board. It's what is it called? The company is called RGM, and the product is called Mastermind, which comes in different sizes with different or more knobs on it to switch, to have the ability to switch more, to have more functions.
Yeah.
And his rig consisted of 3 fractals, like on the rest. Kirk has 3. Rob has 3.
Can you explain what you mean by that for people who don't may not know?
Sure. Well, basically, what fractal is?
Yeah.
Okay. A fractal is electronic device. It's a so-called modeler. So with a fractal, you have the ability or the possibility to have different amps modeled in a digital world, so to speak. It's like download a plug-in for your computer. So there are different companies out there, like Neural DSP, for example, which model like the most famous Mesa Boogie 2C plus, 2C plus, which you can install on your computer. And the fractal is a separate unit, and you have I don't know, like 300 amps in that, including bass amps. 2 bass amps, I think, Ampeg, SVT, whatever. So, and with this, there are also different effects, like chorus, delay, reverb, you name it.
Yeah.
Every effect you can imagine, like Univibe and all that stuff. and you create like a signal path, like guitar input into the device, and then you choose amp, a cabinet. There are also different cabinets in that unit, and you can create with these different parameters, I think you can call it, different sounds.
Mm-hmm.
And you need a control pedal for fast switching, which Chad does for James and Justin does for Kirk. And that was quite interesting to see. Even though you can change from clean to crunch or to a heavy sound on the fractal, they still do it like analog. There's one fractal for clean sounds and the other fractal for heavy sounds. The third fractal is just a backup. So they switch, like a good example is Until It Sleeps, which starts with a clean sound.
Yeah.
And to switch from clean to heavy, you push the button on this RGM Mastermind, and it switches the device to the heavy sound. So quite interesting. Well,
yeah.
And no cabinets, whether on stage or under the stage or somewhere else, the sound is directly put through the PA, through the front of house.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you see the latest interview? Well, yeah, latest interview with Kirk Hammett talking with Rick Beato. Yeah. So he was talking about this, wasn't he, in that? And to say it's a bit more reliable for them doing it this way rather than using actual amps, different, the amps are traveling and going into different weather zones and, different venues. So it's a bit more of a consistent sound this way, which was quite interesting. So if anyone out there hasn't seen that interview with Kirk and Rick Beato, check it out. So,
oh yeah.
Really, really good interview. I'd love to see him sit down with James too, but yeah,
probably
Kirk,
not going to happen.
No.
Probably not going to happen.
No, but Kirk, like he's so enthusiastic, still even more so than ever. So, yeah, really great interview.
The thing is, though, even though a band like Metallica could afford to transport the old system, with their different amps and cabinets they had, to go on that digital route is quite interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, bands like, did you see the rig rundown for AC/DC a couple years back?
No.
It's almost like Yngwie Malmsteen, he has like 18 amps on stage. And Angus Young has like, I think it was like 12 amps backstage for different sounds. It's amazing. They have one guy is specifically just taking care of these amps. It's amazing. And again, I'm not bashing Metallica for doing anything sound related. If they want to have less problems with less gear, it's fine. I'm totally okay with it. I'm not there to say, that doesn't sound like, I don't know, 1988 when Justice came out or something. That's a complete different discussion.
Yep.
I mean, yes, they could afford to take their older system with them, but if you look what they have to do to maintain the same sound every night with 6 different amps. I mean, if you look at an old system of James starting at St. Anger era, he still had the 4 Mesa Boogie Tri-Axes, one clean, one one heavy sound, the other two were backups for each device, and then he had two diesel VH4s. All of this were tube amps, plus the power amp for the Mesa Boogies, also tubes. That's a complete different workflow for maintaining the same quality every night. Completely different workaround. And they want to minimize potential failures for devices, which is okay.
I think there is a video floating around on YouTube. I think I was watching it a couple of weeks ago with James's tech and Kirk's tech about their rig rundown. I don't know if it was for this latest tour or another. I think it was a previous tour. You've probably seen it too. But yeah, they sort of go through the rig rundown. It's probably different now, but that was quite interesting, and they go through the guitars in the the Truckster and stuff like that, which was it's really cool to see all that stuff. A lot of it goes over my head, admittedly, all the plugins and the bloody, the gear, the rack gear and stuff like that. I mean, yeah, but it's cool how they do that and just sort of show us what's going on. But if this works for them this way, then who are we to argue? I'm sure it sounded great still.
It did. It did. It's just they have a different EQ setting nowadays, I think. So with this more higher mids, you can hear it on the Magnetic, you can hear it on Hardwired, you can hear it on 70 Seasons still. But again, they tuned up since Magnetic. They tuned up to E standard again. But live they play in E flat. There comes it. Dream No More is also in D standard on Hardwired.
Okay.
And All Night My Long is in drop D.
Yeah.
This tuning up also has an effect on the EQ settings or the sound you have with the same EQ. It sounds different, of course, because you're playing with a higher pitch. Again, that's a completely different discussion.
Yeah.
Maybe let's go back to Saint.
Let's do it. Yeah. So as I mentioned, there was a lot surrounding this album, and a big one of those things was Jason Newsted leaving Metallica after what was it, 15 years, 18 years or
almost,
something?
15 years. Yeah.
So, Bob Rock played bass on St. Anger for the recording. But yeah, Jason left the band prior to the recording sessions because he wanted to sort of take a hiatus from Metallica for a year or so and go and do his thing with his side project band, Echo Brain. And then, I don't think James liked the idea of that or something. And so Jason left, basically, long story short, from what I understand.
Well, if I remember correctly, he said it would be good to take a year off to take care of themselves, whether it was a neck injury, shoulder injury, to cut back some supplements, and coming back stronger than before. And maybe that idea wasn't really the one that management had in mind. Also, James wanted to have a more creative output, which he really had in Metallica.
Yeah.
And I guess James and Lars, or especially James, didn't understand it because, as he said himself, also a couple years ago in an interview. Now he understands it. Also, Lars said it. Now they understand. The creative output he had in Metallica wasn't that big. Even though, like, for example, My Friend of Misery, Jason wanted to have My Friend of Misery like an instrumental, but they made a real song out of it with the lyrics, and I love that song.
Yeah,
I totally do. Even though I still wish they should have performed it on their Black Album 2 with Jason. But again, different topic. Yes, and because he felt like he couldn't have his creativity completely fulfilled in Metallica, he needed some sort of different output, like Echoprime, like his punk band he does for ages, Chop House Band, I think it's called. And that wasn't respected. So he left. Which I understand.
Yeah.
It's still sad to see after almost 50 years together, you might think there would be more communication.
Yeah.
Or a different degree of respect for each other. Unfortunately, he left, whether it was good or bad. But I think this led to the whole project some kind of monster, I should say. Because of that, they almost broke up. They had to look at themselves to see what kind of problem they have. And I totally agree with what you said when we started this conversation here. I also think, even though it is still an underappreciated record, it's probably one of their most important records.
Yeah.
Without this, there wouldn't be no Death Magnetic. There wouldn't be no Hardwired, and especially no 72 Seasons. There wouldn't be no Metallica today. Mm-hmm. I really think that. Some people might say, well, for me, Metallica died after Just 4 or after Black Album. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's still good music for me.
Absolutely. I mean, you can't, if they'd have stayed the same and kept releasing Justice sounding albums, they probably wouldn't be here today. Like, they would have just, I don't know.
That might be possible.
Who knows? But, you know, I don't think they've been afraid to take different steps, whether it's with the symphony, whether it's, you know, load and reload. You know, there's definitely a few missteps in there, but they're all important parts of the journey, and we've still got them today. Otherwise, we might not. And I guess looking back at some kind of monster, if Jason had sort of stuck around and maybe not bailed, I don't know if I could see him making it through, you know, with the therapist and some of those little tiffs that James and Lars had in the studio. I don't think Jason would have taken that as well as maybe what Kirk did. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it's complete speculation.
Yeah.
Maybe if he hadn't left, maybe they would broke up.
Yep.
You don't know.
You don't know. And then, of course, Rob Trujillo came into the band after the recording, and he's still in the band, and he's the longest-serving bass player in Metallica. So
he is, and he with what is it, like almost 20 years now, and 3 studio records.
Yeah.
Well, we don't talk about Lulu.
Oh, yeah. Well, Rob's been awesome in Metallica, I think, and I saw last week or the week before or something that Metallica brought along Rob's old band, Suicidal Tendencies, as a support act. Didn't Rob jump up for a few songs with them, which was really cool? Yeah.
Playing along with the song.
Yeah. Incredible, man. Like, and then, you know, of course, Pantera joining Metallica as a support. You know, Zach played with Rob back in the day, or Rob played with that Zach, I should say. So, you know,
with the Aussie.
Yeah, and Black. Yeah, he played with Black Label.
Black Label Society. You're right.
Yeah.
Forgot about that one.
Yeah, yeah, he's on that DVD where the crowd.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you're right.
The crowd drank all the booze at the bar or something.
It's amazing.
Yeah,
amazing. But again, I love Saint Anger. It's a complete different record, but it has its highlights.
Yeah.
We don't have to talk about the production. I guess it's what they wanted.
Yep.
I think it's what they wanted to sound like. I mean, today, when they play Frantic or Saint Anger, Kirk adds a solo here and there. He does. But it's quite interesting to see. I have seen them like over, I don't know, 12, 13 times over the years. And every time they were playing something of Load or Reload or even Saint Anger, most people go nuts. They hear James saying, "Give me fuel, give me fire," and then the fire comes up and they start playing the fuel. People go nuts.
Yeah.
And these are the same people, or not everyone, but the majority of them are the same people who say, "Oh, these are not Metallica records. This doesn't sound like Metallica."
Yeah.
Well, I guess they do if you go nuts.
Yeah. Everyone's got an opinion, don't they? Everyone.
Yeah.
But should we quickly go through the track listing?
Sure.
So, yeah, it starts off with Frantic. Probably the perfect opener. That was also the second single released off the album in September of 2003, September 15th, actually, which was, well, yesterday for me. 20 years ago. So, what's the lyric? My lifestyle determines my death style. You know, lyrics like that. There's tons of lyrics on this album like that are quite awesome, I guess, lack of a better word. And, you know, tells of James's struggles and trying to get himself through these tough times and finding himself and that sort of thing.
That line is actually written by Kirk.
Oh shit. I didn't know.
Yeah. It's you can see that scene in the documentary.
Right.
When it's also really cool, actually. This makes this album also special because everyone contributed some things, whether it was drum parts, guitar parts, or lyrics, and they were sitting in their control room and we're just throwing around ideas. Everyone was writing something, and this line was actually written by Kirk. He was sitting there, and it was my lifestyle determines my death style, and you can see and hear Lars's reaction as he was laughing, and said, "That's a great line."
That is a great line.
It is.
Yeah.
You can see it in the documentary.
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry.
Next up, we've got the title track, Saint Anger, which was the first single. I think they released that on June 23rd. 23rd. What I like, well, it's a good song, I reckon. It's probably my favorite off the album, I guess. But also the one I'm most familiar with. But I really like the video, which was filmed at San Quentin State Prison in California. And that was also Rob's first Metallica music video. And it's quite a long song too, 7 minutes 21.
It is.
Yeah.
I was also surprised yesterday when I was watching this DVD again. I said, "Oh man, some of these songs are long."
Yeah.
Damn. And personally, I prefer the radio edit of Saint Anger. They shortened the middle part a bit. I guess for me it sounds more rounded than.
Yeah.
It's not too long, but still.
Yeah.
Imagine playing this song live in front of thousands of people and then 7 minutes.
Yeah.
God damn.
Have you seen this? Have you seen them play this song live on any of the tours? Yeah.
Yes. On the, where was it? Mannheim, a couple years ago, was the Hardwire tour.
Okay.
Open air. Amazing.
Yeah.
Standing there. Dun, 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 dun. People went nuts. Again.
Yeah.
Same people.
It's a pretty sick song, but yeah, I think a lot of these songs could have benefited maybe being a little bit shorter.
Agree.
But yeah, I think that's a really cool song, cool riff, and I actually think the drums and the snare sound really cool on that song in particular. I think it really works on that song. Track 3 is Some Kind of Monster, 8 minutes 25.
Well, because it's instrumentally so long.
Yeah.
A typical long intro from Metallica.
Yeah.
If it isn't a minute, it's not an intro.
Yeah, that's right.
Sorry. But yeah, it's a lot of these songs are instrumentally long, and I agree. Some of them could benefit if they were shortened at certain bars.
Mm-hmm.
Agree on that one.
It's funny with the clean intro with this song. You can actually hear Lars's snare rattling in the background.
Yes,
which is adds to the rawness of the album, I guess.
Oh yeah, I like it. And if you watch the DVD, the snare sound from Lars on that audio is amazing, and it fits so good to these songs.
Now, is that the where they played live in their studio?
In the HQ, yeah.
Is that a DVD as part of the album? Didn't it come with a bonus DVD? Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Gotcha. I haven't watched that for.
That's the edition I bought when it came out, and watched it, and I was like, damn.
Yep.
Wow. And live, and it also shows live these songs work better than on the recording.
Mm.
But live is a different mix than on a record.
Yep. I think I've got to watch that again. I haven't watched that probably since it came out, I reckon. Like, because I got the CD and the DVD when it came out.
You should.
Yeah, I should. I've watched the movie. I think I forgot that it had the DVD attached to it. So, because when I listen to the album now, it's on Spotify. You know, I listen on Spotify. I don't pull out the CD.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I try to watch videos for research on how to play songs. Small details that makes a difference on how to play a song. I try to watch as much videos as I can, whether it's in a studio, whether it's a making of, or live videos. I mean, you play guitar, you can play an E on 5-6 different positions on a guitar. It's the same note, but it has a different timbre.
Yeah.
So I try to play as close as possible. But that's why my research time is immense instead of playing. Yeah. Well, next song is Dirty Window, which is a song they play more and more recently. And that's cool.
Yeah, it sort of grew on me as I was listening to this in the last few weeks. Lots of changes in the song. It's a little bit shorter, just 5 minutes 24. I like the bit where it slows down to I'm judge and I'm jury and I'm executioner too. I thought that's kind of a cool little part they added in there. It's a nice little change. So yeah, that definitely grew on me, that song, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It is.
Yep. And number 5, Invisible Kid, 8 minutes 30.
Again, it's an intro.
Yeah. Now
and it's really down-tuned.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you about, because to me it sounded lower than Drop C, but I don't know.
It is. It is so much lower. And I think I said it before. I think it's it's a drop C sharp.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm not sure right now, but I think it is.
Almost sounds like, I don't know, drop B. Let me have a look. Invisible Kid. Good old Google. Let's have a look.
Yeah, it's drop C sharp.
Drop C sharp?
G.
Oh, G sharp. Oh, yeah. Shit, so... Yeah, okay. That's pretty low. But yeah, it sounds... You can hear it straight away. Even amongst all the other songs on the album, that sounds even lower. So... Yeah. It's okay, that song, I guess. Not one of my favourites, but... What do you think?
Yeah, maybe I could skip that one.
Yeah.
Well, I like the flow of it. Look at Invisible Kid, never see what he did. I like the flow of it, but I don't really like the middle part. It's ooh.
Yes.
That's usually the part when it comes to now skip.
Yep.
Yeah. It's still I like the flow of it. Lars is also really working the drums there. But yeah, usually I guess I skip this.
Yeah.
It depends on my mood. Sometimes I'm like, oh yeah, let it roll. But then it's no, something else now.
Number 6, My World.
That's a banger. One.
Yep.
That's a banger.
Yes, that's a cool riff. Really groovy sort of riff. Now, what is the lyric there? It goes, "It's my world, you can have it. It's my world."
Sucker.
Sucker or suck it? Because I looked at the lyrics and one page said suck it. I'm like, nah, I think it's sucker.
It's sucker.
Yeah, it sounds like sucker.
It's sucker.
Yeah.
It's my world, mother. Oh no. Okay.
There's a cool lyric in that song too that I never picked up on. What is it? Who's in charge of my head today? Dancing devils in angels' way. Just little lyrics like that are really cool, I think.
Yeah.
I think, I don't know, I could be wrong, but I think Hetfield's lyrics get overlooked a bit sometimes.
They certainly do, especially during these underappreciated records like Load, Reload, Serenga.
Yep.
Still, people don't want to really listen to it, or started listening because they got maybe older, think differently, and give it another chance, and realize then, these songs and these lyrics are really deep.
Yeah.
I mean, some lyrics on Load are, I said it in our latest podcast, lyrics on Load are really deep and heavy. And some of these songs here on St. Anger, it's the same thing.
Hetfield's a real a real guy. Like, he's a real dude. Like, he's a real artist, a real person, a deep person, talented. But I guess because he's a good singer, great guitarist, great singer, great guitarist, I should say. I guess, yeah, people maybe don't quite make it to his lyrics as such and sort of pick them apart like we would with some other bands, you know. But just my observation. Number 7, Shoot Me Again. 7-minute
song to play. It's
Yeah.
a fun song to play, but also could benefit from the short, certain parts in there, especially the middle part. Just dun, 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 dun. You know, that's too long.
Yeah.
But I'm just a fan. I don't have an opinion.
I like he does that the speaking voice sort of verse.
Oh yeah.
Which I think we mentioned on the last episode about 72 Seasons. Like, he's got such a cool speaking voice when he does that. And yeah, he does it in that song. So Sweet Amber, number 8, in about 5.5 minutes, which you posted on your Riff Madness Instagram today. Go and check it out, folks. Get your dose of heavy riffs. That song actually grew on me. I didn't realize.
Sweet Amber.
Yeah.
Was played once live.
Right.
Almost 20 years ago.
And that's it, as far as you know?
That song, or the lyrics of that song especially, were written during the recording process, which makes it quite unique, I think.
Yeah.
Because it's wash your back so you won't step mine. It's like you ask me for a favor, and if I don't help you out on that one, you might suck me up, you know. It's like that's really life. That's life situation. Get in bed with your own kind. Yeah.
Yeah, it's I kind of realized today I was out walking and I had this album going, and I'm kind of like, I think this is one of those albums that I almost like the second half of it more than the first half. I realized because next up you've got The Unnamed Feeling, which is a great song. 7-minute song. Now this was a third single released on the album, I think, and I think it was exclusively in Australia that I read. I didn't look too much into it, but so I don't know if it was released worldwide as the third single or just in Australia. I'm not sure, but yeah, that's a quite an underrated song, and I'd forgotten all about it, to be honest. But yeah, it's probably one of my favorites on the album.
Also, really interesting is I think Edward Norton, you know, the kid who played, or the actor who played John in the Terminator 2.
Oh, yeah.
Had an appearance in that video.
Did he really?
Yeah, John Connor. So the actor who played the character John Connor.
Yeah. What's his name? Edward Furlong.
Edward Furlong. Yeah, not Edward Norton. Sorry.
Yeah.
Edward Furlong. I think he had an appearance in that video. Same with, I don't know if you know the series, NCIS.
No.
Do you know NCIS?
Yeah. I don't watch it, but yeah.
The actress who played the forensic genius also had an appearance in that video.
Oh.
Abby, I think the character is called. I'm not really sure.
Cool.
But I love that song. I love this song. It's so much fun to play. Especially interesting is I think that the song is mainly in like C sharp, because you play it most of the time on the second fret. But in the chorus, and then the unnamed feeling, it goes lower to this drop A sharp.
Right.
That's so cool.
Yeah. I don't remember the video. I'm gonna have to check that out. I don't think I've seen it, to be honest. I probably have, but I can't remember it.
You probably have.
Yeah. Purify, number 10. About 5 minutes.
Purify.
It's not bad. Couple of little vocal things that I'm not into, but
yeah. Tear it down, strip the layers off my turpentine. Old paint, old looks. Yeah, I like that song. Hasn't been played live.
Right.
But I like the groove behind it, especially with the guitars. There's a there's groove to it, which I love, and I think it's also an overlooked song.
Yeah, and because all these songs are so fast, like, I think if you played some of them a bit slower, you'd pick up on the groove a lot more. But it's Metallica, so yeah,
probably. Yeah, also the way James on the whole record, actually, and this song also, the way he spits out these lyrics with this syncopation is a tear it down, strip the layers of my turpentine. He spits these lyrics out like a raged teenager.
Yeah, like I said, he definitely had something to get out on this album.
Oh yeah,
as with every album, but this is a different time period, as you'll see in the documentary. But yeah, you can hear him really digging deep, getting this shit out. And then the finisher is All Within My Hands, about just under 9 minutes. Which is also the name of Metallica's foundation, which I wanted to sort of touch on. All Within My Hands is Metallica's foundation, which is dedicated to creating sustainable communities by supporting workforce education, the fight against hunger, and other critical local services. And just stepping away from the song for a minute, you might have seen recently Metallica launched the world's first ever guitar-shaped ice cream bar based on James Hetfield's ESP Truckster to raise money for the foundation. So that was kind of cool.
It's quite hilarious, eh?
Yeah. Why not? But
if you look at the lyrics, love is control. I'll die if I let go.
Yeah.
It sounds familiar.
Mm-hmm.
The way he handled the situation with Jason.
Yeah.
I mean, James is it's not wrong to say that, because he said it himself. He's a control freak.
Yeah.
And the way he handled the situation with Jason, he cannot get behind the idea to that Jason would play in a different band and it has shows with a different band other than Metallica, and so love is control, and he cannot let go.
Yeah.
So maybe I'm misunderstanding these lyrics, but this is the first thing that comes to mind when I read this.
And that's is that the song where at the end of it it's kill.
Yes. Yes.
Which again is a bit not Hetfield like, or not what, well, in my opinion anyway. It's a little bit out of character, but I could be wrong. You might think different, but just that sort of approach to the vocal and to the song, I don't know, it's a little bit bit outfield, but I could be wrong.
We could all be wrong on this topic. But that's the beauty of reading lyrics and the way you think you understand it. And I think the most of these lyrics are usable for different situations, which makes it more, I should say, mainstream friendly.
Yeah. I think most people can relate to a lot of them in their own way, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Like all good lyrics, I guess. And I think that's why people relate to Hetfield in general, you know. He's got his struggles. Got his struggles like we all do, and different ways. But so yeah, that takes us to the end of Saint Anger. Like I said, very interesting looking back and listening again after a little while for me. I've probably got more appreciation for it now.
I certainly do, even though I started to love it pretty much early on. It was also the first time I saw Metallica live. That was on that tour in 2004 with can I say this band? I don't know. It's Lost Prophets.
Right. Oh.
With the singer who was sentenced with as a pedophile.
Mm.
You know? And Slipknot was on that show too, or on that tour, at least in Germany. That was interesting bill of bands, but it especially with Slipknot and Metallica on that night, that was quite unique. I should say.
Yeah,
and it was a lot of fun. It was the first time Metallica, and it was crazy. It's crazy.
Actually,
although years later I got the bootleg, and it sounded
terrible. Oh, really? Sounded terrible.
Sounded so bad.
Oh no.
But I don't remember it to sound that bad.
Yeah. Well, that's another thing that I came across when I was sort of doing a bit of research for this album, because I think the album got a bit of a new metal tag, not exclusively, but sort of that was part of it. And it was around that time. And then I sort of looked at the tour. They had what was the 2003 Summer Sanitarium tour. And
with Limp Bizkit.
Yeah, Deftones and Linkin Park and Mudvayne, which are all new metal. So, and then of course the one that you saw was Godsmack, Lost Prophets, and Slipknot. Yeah.
I mean, you could say because of the way they tuned their guitars, and the majority of these songs could play chord-wise with one finger, is some sort of like labeled as new metal, because most of these bands that came out had just drop-tuned guitars that could play most of these chords with one finger, even though Deftones, the first, I think, 2 or 3 records were like E flat, and then D, in standard, E standard, E flat standard, D standard, and all that stuff. But yeah, Linkin Park had a drop tuning. Godsmack had certainly a drop tuning.
Yeah.
And all of them were around that time. Besides, Limp Bizkit he was playing a 7th string, but had 2 high C sharp strings. He said it. Wes Borland said it in an interview. So the majority of his songs were in C sharp. But Korn, we all know, 7 strings, down tune the whole step, so it's A. It has a certain kind of flavor to it, maybe, but it's not a new metal record from me. Besides, I don't like the term new metal, but that's something different. I mean, the music evolved. Is this when you say, what is it? Is it Led Zeppelin, the new rock and roll beside Beatles or Rolling Stones? Is Black Sabbath new rock and roll? I don't like the term new metal.
It's very hard to stick things into a specific genre, especially as time goes on too. You know, things change, and but I think the fact that there was no solos on the album too, it leaned more towards that. But yeah, it's still Metallica at the end of the day.
But when you listen to these songs, when I listen to The Unnamed Feeling, for example, I don't hear a solo in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not every song needs to have a solo just to have an ego filled of one part of the band, you know? I mean, a solo is maybe a percent of a song. A solo doesn't make a song. A song doesn't make a solo.
Yeah.
It could add to the song, like, for example, The Unforgiven. It sets it up. But a song doesn't need to have a solo just for the chorus to have a solo in it.
Even if it is Kirk Hammett playing it.
I mean, Pantera, there are certain Pantera songs which don't have a solo, and they don't need to have it.
Well, actually, possibly my favorite Pantera song, War Nerve, that doesn't actually have a solo in it. And you know what? I didn't even realize until I think I was speaking with Attila, and he mentioned it, I think. And I'm like, oh, this can't be my favorite song anymore. You know, it's Dimebag. You know, his solos are my favorite, and I've picked a song that doesn't have a bloody Dimebag solo in it. But no, there's something about the darkness of that song and that album in particular that get me. But yeah, it's like Led Zeppelin with John Bonham.
What song is it?
War Nerve, the second track on the Great Southern Tranquil.
Oh, War Nerve. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Attila is a great guy, and he definitely nails these solos. I just watched yesterday how we're standing in his kitchen and playing the solo to Walk. So damn it.
Yeah.
And his tone is like spot on. I need to talk to him how he did that. I need to know.
Yeah, he's just guy. Oh, he's insane. Like, you watch his man, he studies it like he did Primal Concrete Sledge from the 2000 Ozfest.
Yeah. I watched it too yesterday. I was like, he was sitting there and said, damn. Well, first off, he has a culprit that I need to watch my language. This guy has a freaking culprit, which is really hard to get. And then he has the nerve to nail this tone from this show. Oh, man, I need to talk to him.
Yeah. Oh, man, he's all over it. I love watching his videos.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
He's a great guy. So shout out to Attila.
Absolutely. Hoping to get him back on here pretty soon to talk about some more Pantera stuff. So
can't wait for that one.
Yeah, no, it's a pleasure to be able to reach out to guys like yourself and Attila, you know, on the other side of the world, and that's what doing this podcast has allowed me to do. So it's I'm definitely grateful for that.
Where's he come from? Isn't he from Belgium? No,
Hungary.
Not Belgium. Hungary. It's not too far away from me.
Yeah, it's a long way from me.
Certainly is.
Have you ever been to Australia at all?
No.
Any plans?
And when, I would love to, but every time I see a picture from some big spider up in a corner on the wall in a room, I was like, nope, kill it with fire, man.
Man, me too. I hate spiders, and I grew up in a part of Melbourne that had big spiders. So,
dude, I was watching a video on Instagram a couple of days ago, and I was like, what's this? oh, that's nice, AI created, and it was moving its legs. It was like, I don't have small hands, but I don't have big ass hands like Paul Gilbert, but it still is like 20 centimeters, and that thing was bigger than my hand. I was like, nope,
Nope.
nope, nope.
Burn the house down.
Dude, a fire in the hole, man.
Yeah.
Nope.
I hear.
And you have everything in Australia. You have killer snakes, you have alligators, crocodiles, and you have snakes. And it's like, nope.
Yep.
And scorpions. No.
Yeah.
But I would love to see Australia. Just standing in Sydney in front of this theater, I think it is. It's like, oh damn, looks beautiful here.
The Opera House.
Opera House, yes.
Yep.
Yeah, but it's also really hot down there, and I'm not made for these high temperatures, to be honest.
Right. Yeah, it can get pretty hot. I think we had the nickname for a long time, the sunburnt country or the sunburnt land or something like that. Yeah, it can get pretty hot, but it does get cold too. So we get a nice mix of all seasons. But I'm definitely glad that it's starting to warm up now. We're in spring now, so I'm a little bit happier in spring. Winter gets a bit tough for me. So
plus it's a long ass flight.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
We were flying to San Francisco like 11 hours. And I was like, no, man. And I cannot sleep while being on the plane. I cannot sleep. So I was up like when we were flying, starting early in the morning from Frankfurt, sun goes up, sitting in the plane, sun goes down, moon, sun goes up, and then landing in San Francisco. And I was like, oh. And I haven't slept a minute in it. So I was tired AF.
Yeah.
And then you have to be awake for the rest of the day just to try to have a regular day-to-day routine,
Yep.
But then it hits you like in 3 or 4 p.m. I need to sleep.
Yeah.
I cannot sleep on a plane. So that flight to Australia or New Zealand, that would not be good for me.
No, I mean, I'd love to come to Germany and to Europe, but I flew to America about 15 years ago.
Okay.
And it wasn't great. I didn't enjoy the flight at all. And same as you, I couldn't sleep. I'm a bit claustrophobic, so I'm no good on the plane.
Oh, okay. Okay.
It was awful. And then actually I kind of got used to it flying from LA to Seattle and sort of around the West Coast there a little bit. And then we had a rough flight from LA to Vegas. Like it was only a 40-minute flight and it was fucking turbulence the whole way, and that's screwed me up again. So so I'm not really a fan of aeroplanes, I must say. So I don't think I may not make it to Germany, unfortunately.
Oh.
We'll see.
But I tell you, I'd rather be on the plane than on the ship.
Yes. Yep.
I don't like only have glue around me.
No, I'm the same. I hear.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, that is Sananga. Anything else you want to say about the album before we wrap up?
I think people who skip this record because people tell them to skip this record because it's a Metallica record, don't listen to these guys.
Yeah.
Watch the documentary. Inform yourself around that topic, how this album was created.
Yeah.
Listen to it, and then make up your mind. I think it's really important to watch the documentary Some Kind of Monster and to have the knowledge behind this, how this record came to be, to fully understand it, how these songs sound the way they are. That's my suggestion. I'm sorry. I think it's important. Other than that, give this album a chance. Weekly, I read comments from people as well. I was giving Saint Anger another chance, and now it grew on me.
Yeah.
Same with Load and Reload. So sometimes time will tell. But I guess in this case, knowledge is more important. Why this record sounds the way it is.
Yeah, like I said at the start, there's a lot surrounding this record, and it's a big chapter. In the chapter of Metallica, you know, you had the Napster thing, you had Jason leaving the band, James going through his struggles.
With Lars being right on that one.
Yeah, and, you know, that's sort of come to light fairly recently, I think, that, well, people have admitted that anyway, you know, that he was right and he stuck to his guns with that. But yeah, big part of Metallica's, it was 20 years ago, so it's halfway through their career, and now we're 20 years later and they're still going. So, but yeah, I think, like you said, Load and Reload, like they were my first two albums that I was introduced to, and I went backwards from there. I still love those albums, Load in particular. So yeah, and Saint Anger's definitely grown on me coming back to it after a few years, you know, researching for this episode. And
well, I have to admit, it's not my go-to record.
Yeah.
Or it doesn't, I don't listen to it as much as I probably should as a Metallica fan. But I don't say it's not a Metallica record. You know what I mean? It's
yeah.
Still, some of these songs are really fun to play, and I love them. And it certainly helped me also a lot to understand some certain parts of my life. Well, not being an alcoholic or a drug addict or something, but I guess this album helped me a lot with the private life because of the family losses and stuff. But this, like I said before, this album is a really important part of their not only musical lives, as you said, also their private life. Like James misses his son's first birthday.
Yeah.
I guess wasn't Lars getting divorced, or maybe I don't know. Jason thing, and the maybe we could say the mental trauma losing Cliff that's still rumble in their head all these years later, and the tension they maybe had because of Jason's not fulfilled outlet. And after that record, Death Metallica came out, so this album had to be done.
Yeah.
During these therapeutic sessions and all that stuff, this needed to come out.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. People saying this is not a Metallica record. Well, okay, maybe you should name this album not Metallica, Saint Anger. Maybe you should call it Four Guys in a Room Banging the Instruments. I don't know. It's music is an outlet of emotions, and this is certainly what it is.
Yeah, and that's why they kept it raw, you know, in the production and the mix and everything. But you know, and I think another reason why maybe we don't go back to this album as much as we should is because they've got so many other good albums. Like,
right,
you know, they've got so much good music. So this one easily gets left in the background, you know. So that could be part of it as well. Yeah. Well, thank you, Jörg. please, everyone, go and follow Riff Madness on Instagram. Are you on TikTok as well?
I do, but not so active. Not so active.
Mainly the
my main stuff is still Instagram, and still enjoy it as much as I do before. So
yeah, man, I love your videos. You know, like
thank you.
You obviously put a lot of work into them, and you know, you can tell you just enjoy what you're doing, and I really appreciate that. You know, as soon as I turn a camera on, I sort of start to fumble a little bit, and then I get turned off doing it. But So thank you for all your videos, and
thank you. Appreciate
thank you for coming on the podcast again. It's been a pleasure to talk to you once again about Metallica.
Likewise, man.
And
likewise.
Big thank you to
Maybe
Metallica.
Next time we can talk about Metallica.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, there's plenty of other good music out there, but obviously Metallica is one of our favorites. But yeah, we could talk about something else.
We can talk about it because I went to see Metallica here in Stuttgart.
Oh, really?
I did.
Oh man. Oh yeah, I'm hoping they make it down here as well. So they've got both bands got a big fan base down here. So I'm pretty confident they'll make it down eventually. So. Well, yeah, thanks everyone for tuning in. Thank you, Jörg. Nice to talk to you again.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Hope you have all enjoyed this episode. Go and check out Sananga. Go and check out the doco, Some Kind of Monster. And if you've got the original Sananga CD, don't forget there's that DVD on the back, which I'm going to go and grab out myself and check out tomorrow. So thanks for tuning in, everyone. And have a great day. Talk to you again soon. Thank you.